holding each other accountable. It's not said no more of this buddy stuff. It's time to, we're grown men here trying to treat each other like that. Have you seen a tenor change in practice, more accountability, maybe a different tone within the guys?
I think all that would probably, the coaches obviously are always doing that. I think that would probably happen in the locker room one-on-one. Thought we practiced well today. I think Cam's done a really nice job of setting the tone in terms of, hey, this is what's expected. Christian, some of those other guys, but the real test of all that is always, how long you can go with all that. So, very simply, I told a couple of those veteran guys, like I always think it's our job as coaches to show the guys how we can win, what it takes for us to win. When we've done it, we've had games like Atlanta, Arizona, New Orleans. When we haven't done it, we have games like this past Sunday. So we have to hold ourselves accountable as a team, as coaches, players, everybody, to do it week in and week out and do it consistently. And so that's the next step for us. We have to execute it.
You mentioned Cam and leadership. Has he come in and kind of quickly become one of the leaders of this team?
Yeah, well, he's one of the veteran players. Like I think the thing that just not disappoints me, I don't know if that's the right word. I just wish everyone could see like how hard he works. Like what Cam Newton did on Sunday to go out there and lead us to 21 points and go whatever he did passing and protect the football with an offense he learned within 4 days is unheard of. And but it's the amount of work he puts in, right? Like I'm in the building Monday night at like 8:15. I walk down in the weight room and he's down there still getting treatment. I mean, he's been there all day. Cam Newton, and much like many of these guys, But I think one of the things that happens to younger players, whether it's in college, high school, or even when they first get to this team, is they just seen Christian be great on game day. They see Cam Newton get great on game day, and they don't see like the 5 a.m. show up. They don't see Shaq's in here lifting every Wednesday at 6:30 in the morning. Those guys put so much into it. So I think when you do those things, then you earn the right to lead. And leading is not motivational speeches. It's demanding that everyone put the time in. And so I think Cam's brought a lot of that quickly to us because he wants to win. He's a veteran player now. He came in. He had the Thomas Davises. He had all those guys. Well, now he's that guy. And so we have to find a way to become a consistent football team. And really, to me, that comes from players buying in completely to the process that we're asking them to do.
We saw JC out there today. I know he didn't do anything, but is he on track to have a return this season?
I don't know that yet. They kind of do some periodic check-ins to see. He's definitely healing. When he'll be back, I don't know.
I'm looking at Miami's defense. I know their numbers maybe don't look so impressive as for the season, but the past month they've really seemed to have turned things up a notch. Can you just talk about how they're playing right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's a credit to Coach Flores and his staff. Right, they were 1-7, and they beat Houston. They overcame 5 turnovers to beat Houston. They played Baltimore on a Thursday night, one of the best teams in the National Football League, and they brought zero blitz like 31 times, and they just burned the boats and said, hey, we're here to win. They won. Took away the football, and they followed it up last week with another win. So they're a hot team. They've won 3 in a row. They'll play man. They'll overload the box. They'll bring pressure pretty much every play. They'll overload us and bring zero pressure and try to outnumber us and hit our quarterback. On offense, they are run RPO. They're like 5th in the league in completion percentage, over 20 yards. They'll throw the ball deep. Gesicki's an excellent player. They've got a lot of really good players. So they're a team that's found themselves and is playing really good football right now, and there'll be a schematic challenge for us because they're gonna be blitzing us the minute we get off the bus, right? So it's gonna be something like here's Cam, he's in week 2. I'm expecting them to probably say, hey, how much does he know in terms of all their blitz answers and all that? Hey, let's go get after those guys. So we'll have to have a great plan and one that our guys can execute.
Matt, you guys had Sam Darnold with the C on his chest, Matt Paradis being a captain. How have you guys adjusted off the field and in the locker room to losing a leadership and captains like that?
Obviously those guys meant a lot to us, but I mean, I think you guys have heard me say before, even the captain thing, it's an honor, right? Your teammates vote for you. But as you go through the twists and turns and trials of a season, the high moments, the low moments, real leadership emerges. True leadership is not convenient leadership. It shows up when there's adversity. There's not a lot of adversity in training camp. So, as you go through it, guys show, hey, I can lead too. So all of a sudden you look around, you have guys like Hassan Reddick. You have guys like A.J. Boye. You have many more. Guys like Jermaine Carter emerge. So we don't think we have any shortage of leadership. It's just it's just trying to make it all cultural. Like, I go back to the Ravens. I don't mean to talk about another team, but like, I'm watching them play, and they lost all those tailbacks this training camp to injuries, right? But then they still run the football at a really high level because it's cultural. This is what we do, and so so often for us, like, we have a couple injuries. We have to just keep overcoming it. It has to be a culture here of execution, a standard of performance and preparation, and then we have to get to the games on Sunday and deliver. And we have just not done that consistently. And there's not weeks where I've said, like, boy, that's a bad week of practice. I thought last week was as good as there was, and we got to the game, and it just we didn't play the way we're capable of. So I think the leadership's emerging. Obviously, adding guys like Cam and Amir Abdullah, they bring a presence. But I just think it's the collective, just the collective culture and mindset of everyone in the building. Like, hey, what are we going to tolerate? What are we not going to tolerate? What is expected of us? So I hate losing Matt. I hate losing Sam. But we have lots of other guys, too, that I really trust.
What's impressed you about Hassan's leadership? Him being a first-year guy here, it probably, like you said, it took some time maybe for you to see some of that?
I just think he, I think really before the Atlanta game, I think he really, it's the only time since I've been here that we've, like, sometimes when you lose, guys like to, say something in the locker room, have a team meeting the next day, all that, hey, let's get this together. It was the first time we had a meeting the night before the game, where I finished my little 15-minute team meeting, and Hassan's like, hey, coach, can everyone stick around? In today's culture, in today's society, like, standing out and being different sometimes is hard, right? Like, we're just kind of everyone's, it's just easy to be liked and just kind of go along with the flow and let me just handle me. And what you need some people that realize, like, to be different. I mean, if you want to be different, if you want to be extraordinary, you can't do the same thing as everybody else. You've got to be willing to stand out. And so guys like Hassan that are willing to, like, stand in the fire and stand up and say, hey, this is what I'm expecting from everybody. A lot of guys don't want to do that because what if they get beat? What if they have a bad game? If you want to lead, you have to take that daring step. And so I thought Hassan did that in that game, and many more guys have done things like that. So I've been proud of a lot of those guys, and my hope, to be quite honest, is that it'll all come together at some point, right? Like, all these signs of leadership, all these signs of good moments of football all comes together, and it's consistent, and it's something that's built to last, that lasts for years, because it is the culture in the building, not one guy stepping up and doing something as an outlier.
Have you done anything this week to overemphasize stop committing penalties?
To be quite honest with you, I've kind of put it back on them. Like, at the end of the day, like, as coaches, we've tried to coach it. As a team, we've had, hey, run to this sign, do this. At some point, it's got to come from within, right? And I just really think a lot of it comes down to focus. There's some that I don't care. Like, we got to. I tell you, they had a false start on Michael Jordan. It didn't move. Like, I'm not going to worry about the numbers. It's the ones that are, are focused for us that bothers me. The holds on the offensive line, hitting the quarterback as he's sliding. I think one of our great battles that we're fighting right now here as a team is learning how to just focus consistently, day in and day out, week in and week out. I call that process, right? And so we get in the game and we play well, and then we do something that hurts ourselves. So just trying to turn it back on the team, and just really asking players to hold themselves accountable and asking them to hold each other accountable. Because if we don't beat ourselves, we'll be a much better football team. And I know that's, we've done other things before, and early in the season we weren't a heavily penalized team, and it's just kind of grown as the year's gone on. So we have to correct it.
Matt, do you have an update on Cam Irving and what's left tackle look like this week?
I don't have anything on Cam. I mean, he's obviously got another week at least. Dennis Daly's up again. Dennis. I told Dennis, like, he practices all week. We need him to finish a game. I do think Brady played well in the game last week, so we'd have both those guys ready to go.
Can you give us an idea of what Thanksgiving will be like at the Rhule household? And also, are you doing anything to allow the players any extra time to celebrate as well?
Yeah, we'll start early tomorrow and let them go around noon. Then bring them in a little bit later on Friday. Expect them to, be ready to go. We'll stay here a little later tonight. At my house, we'll have, obviously our family, my mother, my father, my wife, my kids. My wife might have invited other people. I don't know. Like, I'll show up tomorrow and see. Give thanks and hopefully spend some time together. So,
Any cooking on your part?
me?
Yeah.
Oh, no. No, my wife went to culinary school. She's an excellent chef. My mom makes creamed onions and some Pennsylvania traditions. And then I think if we invited other people, usually everyone will kind of bring their own thing. So it'll be nice. And then the only tradition we have is, my wife buys all these pumpkins. And when we were in Waco, we had a bunch of land. We'd go out with the kids, and Thanksgiving was the day we'd smashed all the pumpkins. So we'll do that here. I have to clean it all up because we live on a city street now. So.
Kind of a deep question here, but anybody in particular in your life that you're overly grateful for, speaking of Thanksgiving, to be where you are today, coaching here?
It's from a coaching perspective.
Ooh, your life.
Yeah, I would start with Julie. I mean, I think, I'm certainly an imperfect human. For anyone that would be married to me for this long is really, really special. And I haven't always been the best husband. Like, I've had to grow as a man along the way. But I always go back to, and Joe will appreciate this, I was coaching at the University of Buffalo, and I had a chance to, we got fired at Buffalo. I was 24 years old. I was a full-time Division I coach. I was one of the youngest Division I assistants in the country. And I got offered the job at King's College, or Wilkes College. I can't remember Wilkes College, which was, my wife's from Montoursville, so it's an hour 15 from my wife's house. And, it was a good job, full-time job, defensive coordinator, and we were young. And I had the chance to go be a graduate assistant at UCLA. And we were going to move to Los Angeles. I think the rent was at the time, this was 2001, was $1,400. I made $780 some a month, so I made just over half of the rent. And I never forget Julie saying to me, she said, we need to go to UCLA. She's like, you want to be a Division I coach, we have to go do this. And so with her blessing, we went, and she worked 2 jobs, and she made a ton of money doing it, and she drove me to work every day because we didn't have a car, and I didn't have a car, and that's where I met Phil Snow. That's where I met so many other people. So, it's been all those sacrifices along the way. I think one of the greatest gifts a man can give to his kids is their mom, right? Because, that's who, especially as a coach's kid, we're at work all the time. My kids are blessed to have the mom that they have. And so she does so many things. And, I don't know how many NFL coaches do it, but, we have every player on this team over to our house on a Thursday night in a row. We have different position dinners, and guys come over to the house, and it's just she's just so willing to sacrifice those things so that the players, as a head coach, you're probably not supposed to be liked, but at least they can tolerate me a little bit more when they've been to my house and seen my kids and seen my dogs. So I would say, I wouldn't be here if it was not for Julie. I would not have been able to do the things that we've done, at other places without Julie. So I'm very grateful for her.
Matt,
That should get me out of a lot of trouble right there. Make sure you post that.
How do you follow that? I was actually going to ask about, with the offense and with Cam getting his feet underneath him a little more with every passing day, what's the next step? What's the next thing you want to see out of him as he kind of has a firmer grip?
I want to see us have no penalties on offense and see what happens. We had no turnovers in this past game. Let's have no bad snaps. The second, third down of the game is a bad snap, right? People said, was it a trick play? No, it was just a bad snap. We're wide open for a first down, and we're going to go off, and we'll get rolling again. So I want to see us not have penalties, not have, bad catastrophic plays, and then watch how the talent takes over, because DJ Moore's getting better right now. Robbie Anderson's getting better. Tommy and Ian are getting better. Christian's playing at a really high level. I want to see all that kind of come full circle and come together. We've certainly seen spurts of it, right? I think as a coach, this is the most frustrating period, and I use frustrating in a really positive way, because some people say later, you were frustrated. What I mean by that is this. It's one thing if you don't ever see it work, you have to question, does this work? Well, at Arizona, I was like, man, this is exactly what it's supposed to look like. At Atlanta, this is exactly what it's supposed to. The first drive last week, this is exactly what it's supposed to look like. The drive to answer the score in the third quarter, fourth quarter, it's exactly what it's supposed to look like. It's the consistency that we're chasing now. And that I truly believe with all my heart, that's a mindset. That's an organizational mindset. That's like when we win a game, we don't act like we just won the Super Bowl. We're supposed to win games, right? We beat Arizona, we're supposed to do that. We don't start acting all crazy. Just everyone in this building, we just stay locked into the next week and what's next being our mentality. So I say all that to say, I don't want to see anything different from Cam. I just want him to keep doing his job. And his special traits will show up. I want DJ just to keep doing his job. Robbie, Christian, just keep doing the little things at a high level, and watch how that all of a sudden it becomes an overnight sensation. All of a sudden we have a really good offense. And that's what the defense has done. They got away from it this past week. We stopped doing some of the little things that have been great for us, and I hope we get back to it versus this Miami team.
What are those little things on the defense that, as you look back on that thing, you need to fix quickly?
Yeah, we got out hit, right? Bill Walsh had a great sign, says, "I will not get out hit at any time," right? Like, we got out hit, which was disappointing. And I think what happened was, sometimes, I don't have to be careful how I say this. Sometimes you show up for a show and a game breaks out. Like, that Washington came to fight us and play us. And we got up early and everyone was having fun, and all of a sudden a game broke out. And they were running the football, and we needed to respond. And we responded in kind of a panicky way, and everyone started trying to make a play. And so you look at the football, sometimes it's almost unrecognizable, we're supposed to double somebody, and we're not doubling them. We're leaving guys hung out to dry. Everyone you talked about Dante afterwards. Dante got hung out to dry a lot in that game. Guys, he's supposed to have help, and he doesn't have help. So just a lot of panic, a lot of really good guys that all of a sudden there was a battle, and they started trying to make plays and do things outside the defense, and the defense works. Like, when we just do our jobs in the defense works. So I only verbalize all that because I think it's such an important message for our players. I think our players know it. We just have to keep saying it. Just do our jobs and play really, really hard. And that'll be a challenge this week. Miami plays really, really hard. Coach Flores' team plays really, really hard. So if we go down there, we have to play really, really hard, match their intensity. And we don't have to do anything special to be special. That's a Cam line. We just have to go out there and do our job. So that's what I'm hoping to see.
Are you doing anything differently personnel-wise in the secondary at all?
Not really, no. No.
What about up front? Since Davion's been hurt, Daquan and Derek had to play a lot of snaps. Is there anything mix and match up there you could do to these things?
Yeah, first of all, I'll say number one, I'm not going to overreact, right, to like a bad game because you look at it, it's all very correctable. We're still trying to bring Phil Hoskins along. I thought he had a good practice today. I can't wait to go in and watch the tape. So if we go in with a couple more another D tackle, that might be something we do at some point. But there's only so many guys we can have up, and we want to make sure we have enough guys on special teams, and Etor and Morgan, continue to up their amount of reps. So I think we'll look at everything. But really, at the end of the day, last week didn't come down to any one guy, any one person. It came down to just a lot of guys trying to make a play and not doing exactly what they're trained to do. And so that always starts with us, falls on us as coaches. We allowed it to happen. We allowed last Sunday to happen, so we have to get it corrected this Sunday. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.